Hi everyone, Ronald here, and tonight I'm going to give a lesson on the traditional decans in astrology. Now, there's a quote by Musashi that if you know the way broadly, you can see it in all things. So I'd like for everybody to realize that while we're covering a more simple or what may seem to be, it could be intermediate or advanced to some of y'all, but while we're covering an astrological aspect, we're also learning to see the way broadly in all things at the same time, okay? And I'd also like to impress upon you the strength of being able to use your imagination and your mental imagery to synthesize these techniques all the time, okay? I want you to, so let's just go through an exercise. Red stop sign, you should see that in your head. AK-47, you should see that in your head. You see, you need to get good at picturing all of this in your head. So next, zodiac chart. Okay? You should be seeing something. You can open your eyes. You should be seeing something like this in your head. Okay? And if you're new to astrology, then you should pause the video right now, go to Google and pull up a chart. Because I'm going to teach this lesson without using a whiteboard, without using anything, in a way that you will always have this knowledge in your head for the rest of your time. And then it's your job to implicate that knowledge, to use that knowledge in your daily experience. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is the zodiac. So let's just start. The traditional decans of astrology, it's very simple. There's only one concept in order to know the entire chart, okay? And that is, you must know the elements. So first we have the fire elements, beginning with Aries, over here. So Aries is the beginning of all astrology charts, right, of the solar system, of the sky. The reason is because the Western zodiac, the Western astrological system, uses the ecliptic of the sun, the path of the sun, which is why it doesn't lag behind like the sidereal Eastern zodiac, because everything is dictated by the 4 seasons, which is the path of the sun, which you can see in this right here. The path of the sun always reaches equilibrium and begins to rise above equilibrium on March 21st every year, in and around that date, within a day or two of that. It always reaches the Tropic of Cancer, or the summer solstice, on June 21st. It always reaches the equinox around September 22nd. It always goes down to hell, to Capricorn, to winter. This is all the fall. See, this sine wave will explain the entire universe. Now, if you reflect this sine wave on both sides, you'll have something like this. See how this sine wave, it goes up, comes down, but if you loop it back around, reflect it across this horizontal axis, then you have the torus field, which is the only thing that God has ever created. Okay, now that's a little sidebar, but everything's a torus field. Every human has a torus field of energy, an aura. There's the aurora borealis, which emanates from the North Pole of our Earth, which is why there's colors and extra energy up at that region, and then it emanates all across the torus field onto the flat, immovable plane of Earth. The planet Earth is the plane of inertia. Planet Eartha, plane of inertia. It's the solid foundation upon which everything is built. Now, which every manifest reality comes to being on. So, now we know that it always starts in Aries because we're following the path of the sun in the Western zodiac, and this is the traditional Western decans. So, now all we need to know is each element in its order. So we start with Aries. A decan is 10 degrees of astrological, it's a bifurcation to break down each sign into 3 segments of 10 degrees. So Aries is now broken down into 3 segments, and the fire sign, the corresponding fire sign in order, rules each decan. So the first 10 degrees, or 9 degrees 59 minutes, up to 9, there's only 60 minutes in a degree in astrology. So from 0 to 9:59 is Aries. So it's Mars. It's the Mars-ruled decan, because Mars rules Aries. From 10 degrees to 20 degrees, or to 1959, we have the second decan of the first fire sign, Aries. So how do we know what rules the second decan of Aries? The next fire sign in the chart, which is Leo. This is why I told you, and remember, we want to be able to picture this in our heads. So we want to be able to know what the fire signs are. So here we have Aries, here we have Leo. Then we go up to Sagittarius, right there, right? Okay, so now we know so that will be ruled by the sun. So the second decan, the middle segment of Aries, will be the Leo decan, ruled by the sun. The third decan, the last 10 degrees, from 20 to 29:59, will be the Sagittarius decan, ruled by Jupiter. Okay? So now, if someone has any placement in those planets, we know that not only are they in Aries, so we can picture them as, in your head, this is how we can picture it. They have the Mars rulership, they have the Sun exaltation, those things both exist. But now let's place them in the decan. So let's say it's their sun sign. And we see that they're a third decan Aries. So now we know that there's both the Mars and the Sun still for the rulership and exaltation, but there's also an influence of Jupiter and of Sagittarian. So now they're going to be more of a proselytizer, more of a expounder upon belief systems, more of a philosopher. You see? So this Jupiterian tinge will be added to them. They'll be more of a seeker and a journeyer of esoteric mysticism, right? They'll be more involved in social climbing, or they'll be more involved in working in the justice system, or in starting some faith-based group. You see all of these Sagittarian themes, or they'll take more long-distance journeys, right? So this can be applied to all of the signs. Then we move to Taurus. The first decan of Taurus would be called Taurus, right? The first 10 degrees. The second decan would be Taurus Virgo. It's the next earth sign in order, right? So now there's going to be more of a mercurial and a practical and analytical tinge to this, right? A more of the Virgoan qualities. Then in the third portion, we have the Taurus Capricorn from the last 10 degrees of the sign. So now there's going to be more of a Capricornian, more of a status-based twist, more of a reaching one's career and societal goals, more of these types of things, right? And we can go from each one of those, and it depends which planet is based in the decan. Then from Gemini, the air sign, it'll be Gemini for the first 10 degrees. The second 10 degrees will be Gemini Libra, the next in order. The third will be Gemini Aquarius, right? Now I'll show you an example of one that's on the second half of the chart, from 7 to 12. We'll pick Aquarius. Now let's pick Pisces. We haven't done the water signs. So now I'll do Pisces to show you that the order is still continuous. It's to the next one in order, right? So Pisces, the first decan will be Pisces, and that'll have a Neptunian and Jupiterian strong emphasis, as well as some of Venus, the exaltation point. Then the second decan of Pisces, from 10 to 1959, will be the Cancerian decan, because we're going around the circle. So we've gone from Pisces, the last sign, past Aries, past Taurus, past Gemini, to Cancer, the next water sign. We're always going in the same order around the wheel. So now the second decan of Pisces will be Cancerian. The third decan of Pisces will be Scorpionic, Scorpio Pisces, Pisces Scorpio. So we have Pisces Cancer, Pisces Scorpio. So now you can look at each of your planets and see which part of each sign they lie in, which traditional decan each of your planets fall in. And then from there, you can look at that third or fourth planetary influence and sign influence, right? Because we have the rulership, and then most signs also have an exaltation. And then they have that third influence of the decan, depending on whether they're in the first decan or not. If they're in the first decan, then you'll just have these two. And there's also co-rulers, which is why I said fourth, because now we have Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune, which co-rule signs, right? Okay, so let me see if that's all that I need to share, or if I should do some more examples. I'm going to give an example. Okay, so they're telling me place the sun in Cancer in the second decan and give an example. Okay, so someone has a second decan Cancerian sun, right? So this means that their sun is between 10 degrees and 19 degrees 59 minutes Cancer. One example of a person with this was Nikola Tesla. Okay, I believe his sun was at 17 degrees Cancer. So this will give someone's Cancerian nature, which is lunar with an exaltation of Jupiter. These are the two planetary influence that mostly exert upon Cancer, the moon and Jupiter. But this will add in the Martial and Plutonic elements, giving us 4, because Pluto and Mars are co-rulers. Depending on which system you want, you can take Pluto out if you just want to use traditional, because he was only found so recently. Or you can make Pluto the main one if you're a New Age astrologer and don't even worry about Mars. Whatever you want to do, but now we know that there's at least one of these influences also added to this Cancerian sun. So now they're going to have a more, they're adding, now they're two-shelled creatures in one. They're the crab plus the scorpion, both with a hard outer shell. So this person's going to be even more inclined to reclusiveness, to paranoia, to protecting and hiding one's innermost shell, to having a very investigative and deep penetrating intellect and observatory skill. They're going to, we can see everything that I've said in Nikola Tesla so far. He was reclusive, he was on his own continually. He was extremely investigative and had an unquenchable thirst to discover and to unveil the secrets of the universe, which is shown in the Plutonic martial decan of Cancer in this second decan, right? Etc. Now I should share with you, so that's a good look into how to practically use these decans to find something out about them, right? We add that Scorpio tinge into the Cancerian. Now let's do the opposite. Let's say that someone has their moon in the third decan or decan of Scorpio, okay? Because remember, the first decan of Scorpio is Scorpio. The second decan, we continue around the wheel from Scorpio around to Pisces. So now we have this, the second decan is Scorpio Pisces. The third decan is Scorpio Cancer. Okay, so now we have the polar opposite, or the inversion. It's not an opposite, but it's an inversion. It's the same, but inverted in which one has the rulership and which one is the decanship, or the decan ruler, right? So now we have the Scorpio moon, which is debilitated, but we have the influx of Cancer in these last 10 degrees of Scorpio in these traditional decans. So this is going to reduce the negative impact, and also of the natural debilitation, or debilitation. It's -5 points in traditional astrology because moon exalts in Taurus directly across from Scorpio, 180 degrees. But now we will find that this aspect is softened a bit, and that this person gains extra intuitive powers, as well as an ability to assimilate and to sort through one's emotions. They're given more cardinal emphasis, more ability to shift the stable waters. So if they're stuck in a negative thought form or routine, or paranoia, or dark musing, if they're musing about revenge, this Cancerian influence is going to tap them into the cycles of the moon more, because this is Cancer's ruler is the moon, right? It's going to tap them into that moon ruler more, and also possibly give that Jupiter exaltation, just a little bit of those rays from Jupiter, which is also found in Cancer. And it's going to allow this person to, instead of being stuck in the mental platforms as if they were a first decan Scorpio moon, which would give them an even enhanced debilitation, so to speak, this will allow them to shift the emotion, shift the thought form, shift the musing into something new, because Cancer is cardinal water. So yes, both Cancers and Scorpios can ruminate and can fall into depressions and bad emotions for a long time, but the Cancer is more apt to change all the time because of its moon rulership. So it's more apt to have a mood change, or to have a new insight, or to have a change of emotion, you know? So in this aspect, it will soften the blow a little bit. Okay. I think that's very good, and let's keep it short and sweet, about 15 minutes. So this is Ranulf and the Traditional Decans. Thank you very much, you guys. Have a beautiful night.